Have you heard about the man who stood against the greatest military power in history? This is not a legend, but a reality. It is the story of the Mamluk Sultan Al-Zahir Baybars, the man who defeated the Mongols, defended Islam, and founded a great state. Baybars was born in 1223 in the Turkish tribes, but he did not have a normal childhood. Instead, he was kidnapped and sold as a slave in the slave market. He eventually ended up in Egypt, where Prince Aybak bought him and made him one of the Mamluk soldiers, a powerful military force composed of freed slaves. Baybars was no ordinary slave. He was a natural-born warrior with extraordinary military intelligence, which allowed him to rise quickly in the army. When Sultan Qutuz became the ruler of Egypt, he relied on Baybars as one of his military commanders, especially with the approach of the greatest threat the Islamic nation had ever faced. In the mid-13th century, the Mongols, led by Hulagu, had invaded the Islamic world, destroyed Baghdad, killed the Abbasid Caliph, and crushed Islamic armies everywhere. In 1260 AD, after devastating the Levant, Hulagu sent a threatening message to the Sultan of Egypt, Qutuz, demanding surrender or annihilation. Qutuz refused and decided to confront the Mongols in a decisive battle, with Baybars being the mastermind behind the battle plan. On September 3, 1260, one of the greatest battles in history took place in the region of Ain Jalut, present-day Palestine. The Mongols believed they were invincible, but they didn't know that Baybars had set a perfect trap for them. Baybars used a hit-and-run tactic to lure the Mongols into a narrow valley, where the Mamluk army lay in wait. As soon as the Mongols entered, the Mamluks surrounded them from all sides, unleashing a massacre no one had expected. For the first time in history, the Mongol army retreated and began to flee. In the end, the Mongols suffered a crushing defeat. Their commander, Kidbuka, was killed, and their era of absolute victories in the Islamic world came to an end. After the battle, Baybars returned to Egypt, but he knew that power could not remain in the hands of a weak ruler. Shortly afterwards, Sultan Qutuz was assassinated, and Baybars became the new Sultan of Egypt and the Levant. He began building a powerful Mamluk state and restored the Abbasid Caliphate in Cairo after its fall in Baghdad, making the Mamluks the new protectors of Islam. Baybars was not just a ruler, he was a relentless warrior who fought throughout his life. He defeated the Mongols multiple times and prevented them from returning to the Levant. He recaptured Islamic cities from the Crusaders, such as Antioch, Jaffa, and Chevalier, making the Crusaders experience their worst days. He established a powerful spy network to track his enemies' movements before they could act against him. In the year 1277 AD, Al-Zahir Baybars passed away suddenly after a mysterious illness, and it was said that he was accidentally poisoned. With his death, the Islamic nation lost one of its greatest leaders, but his legacy remained strong as he founded the Mamluk state, which continued to rule Egypt and the Levant for more than 250 years. The lesson from Baybars Story: strength is not in one's origin, but in hard work and courage. Baybars started his life as a slave, but he became a sultan due to his bravery and intelligence. Defeat is not inevitable, even against the strongest enemies. Everyone believed the Mongols were unbeatable, but Baybars proved otherwise. Great leaders don't just protect their lands, they build them too. After the battles, Baybars didn't stop at war. He built a powerful state that lasted for centuries. Thus, the story of Al-Zahir Baybars remains one of the greatest tales of heroism in Islamic history. So, was Baybars the greatest Islamic leader of the Middle Ages?